Paul Pierce recently went viral for basically saying that athletes, well, he explained why athletes preferred white women. And so I am going to share that with you now. And then you guys can give me your take
I'm probably gonna
on.
sit this one out.
Nope, you can't sit it out. This is what he,
I'm standing 10 toes for all the
this is what he
Negroes.
had to say.
Can understand my language.
Mhm.
Like I'll be talking, they be like, "What?"
Do you feel
Because you,
like why do you feel like men, especially NBA players, get with white women? Is it because they're easy, quote unquote?
I
And
got some theories, but I really want to hear it from him.
I do too. I want to hear it
I
too.
honestly think that maybe is they appreciate maybe more and they apologize more.
Listen, I'm scared. Hold on.
No,
Let's hold on.
That's, I mean, you know,
I had an interview with
they
not the apology.
don't mind being held accountable.
I'm so scared of this, y'all, because I had an interview with Columbus Short.
All right, so that is generally what he said. He also went on to say that he only has exclusively dated black women and that his ex-wife was also black. But his theory was that NBA players and athletes and men of a certain stature prefer white women because they're more accountable, they apologize more, and all of that other type of stuff. So I'm gonna just do a popcorn style. What do you guys think, and do you agree or disagree with Paul Pierce?
Being the flip flopper that I am, I just started recently dating the black Negro chicks within like the last 3 years. And previous, I dealt with Latinas and white women, and in my amount of years of on this earth, a white woman has never left me. If the relationship didn't work out, it was 1,000% my fault. But the 3 black women that I talked to over the last over some bullshit. Like I don't, and I'm not the dude who like I. That's why I'm not with the white women because I want like a pretty ass black woman to act like that, and it's hard to find. And like I said, it's my fault. Like you said, why are you not with a white girl? Like ultimately, I don't want to be with a white girl. Like they're fun, they're easy sex, but like I want a pretty ass black woman to just fucking act right. And that is why I am not married because I have yet to find that in a black woman.
Slimmy, what do you think?
Women are women. I don't give a fuck what color they are. Women are women. They don't want to be held accountable. They're gonna tell you the truth if they want to or not. It doesn't depend on what color their skin is. Like, if they want to be around you, they're gonna act a certain way. They're gonna act cool. They're gonna put on a show. But mostly women are women, and I've dealt with women of all kind. And women are women. There ain't no differences.
Mm.
None. None. Now there might be some cultural differences where I'm not gonna get into the cleanliness and all that shit, but because there's some cultural differences, it's just like I don't know about that. But women are women. I don't give a fuck about what the color of their skin is. Man, they're gonna be emotional. You know what I'm saying? Then they're not gonna apologize until it's too late. They're not gonna realize what's going on until it's too late. And it does not matter what color or creed they are. I'm sorry. I don't buy that shit. I think that's people trying to fill the narrative so they can go out and date a certain type of woman.
Mm.
That's just me
So
personally.
can I ask you a question? Like, real, have you ever dated a white woman?
I've dated women of every kind, bro. Like I'm dead
Okay, that's
ass.
it.
Asian,
It was just yes or no
Asian.
question.
Yes, yes. I've dated white women. I've dated them. It ain't. I don't see a
I think
difference.
they're understood.
I think the problem is the type of men that are approached. I think it's on the man. I don't think it's on the color or the creed of a woman. If you approach, it depends on how you approaching every woman. If you approaching every woman like you just want to fuck them out the gate, you're gonna get certain results.
I think
You're gonna get
that
certain
it's
results. It don't matter
don't
on the creed or the
don't
race.
take this personal, but I think it's ignorant to say that women from different cultures are all the same.
Huh? I didn't say
Like
that.
most, well, you said all women are the same, and all these women are from different cultures, but you said they're all the same. Like life
No, I'm talking about the
experiences.
functionality. I'm speaking to the functionality of women. The functionality of women overall is the same. Now, when you get into the cultural differences, that's where you get different things. But ultimately, women are going to be emotional. That's not going to change. A lot of women, they're just not accountable. I think
That's for
you
fucking
come.
sure.
I think women are the same, but people want to create narratives, so they try to say this type of woman is better than this type of woman. Women are women, men are men.
I think
It depends on how you raised on, basically, for real. If
and
you
white
raised to be
people
a
are way
piece of
different than
shit,
black.
you're going to be a piece of shit. I don't think that's based on color or creed or none of that shit.
Well, you said it's based on how they raise, and white people raise their women different than black people raise their women. So,
You
with
sure?
that alone,
You sure?
well, you
You
just said it.
1,000% sure of that?
Well, you just said it. You just said it was. I was using your words. I didn't make that up.
No, I'm saying, are
Don't
you
get mad, bro. I'm not
1,000%
trying to
sure of
argue
that?
with you right now. I'm just trying to. It's just too simple to say all women are the same because it's not true.
Okay. What do you feel is the difference?
Their experiences molds them, and it makes them different in how they act and how they engage with men. Their experiences it makes them different.
Okay, I mean, I need you to elaborate on why women of different races are different. Like, I'm saying, like, what's the differences? What have you experienced that are the differences?
Do white people in large are they just having families with no fathers in the home, or is that a black people thing?
What do you mean? That don't matter about fucking race.
I think that I
That
think
ain't no race thing.
you might
It's
have a
white
point.
people. It's white people that don't have that got single parent homes. What are you talking about, Quentin?
But it's mostly black people. And when the father's not in the home, these women looks different.
I think the thing is that in the black community, we embrace it more and we pedestalize it more.
Which is why
He's talking
our
about on a
women are
macro
different.
level, Slimmy.
Which is why our women are different. Like all this, like molds women and what it looks like when they go out into the world. And no,
Say that again.
it molds the women, how they're raised, with their experiences. It looks different.
In what way?
If I get a white girl from the suburbs and I date her, and I get a black chick from the ghetto, it looks different because where they came from.
That's cultural. Okay, so you get a white woman from the suburbs and a black girl from the suburbs. What's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference?
How she was raised.
What's the difference? What's the difference? I'm asking you.
I hate arguing with you, bro.
Because you can't, you don't like this because you don't want anyone to make you substantiate your arguments. You can't just say blanket statements.
You're the king of not substantiating your argument.
Bro, I just clearly broke down everything, my dude. What are you talking about? I'm asking you what are the differences? You just said a black woman, a white woman in the suburbs, and a black woman in the ghetto. We know there's gonna be differences. So a woman in a trailer park is gonna look the same as a white woman in a trailer park is gonna look the same as a white woman in the suburbs.
Can I comment on this?
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
What's up, Anton? Thanks for having me on, bro. I had to come in and show love because you showed me love, and I don't forget those that show support, man. So I figured I'd come in here real quick. So what I'm about to say does not represent any of the members of the panel, so I'm just going to be very honest and blunt about what I'm about to say, because it might be offensive. The reality is most women are retarded, okay? And the reality about this that guys need to understand when I say that most women are retarded is that the software is always the same. The hardware is what's different, whether the skin color, the cultural background, whatever. The hardware is always the same. Sorry, the software is always the same. The hardware might be different. So the only real difference, right, sometimes is cultural situations, background, the way they grew up, etc., will maybe dictate their mannerisms, the way they behave, and what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, all women are trying to do the same thing, which is do what? Get the best man that they can get based on their education level, socioeconomic level, where they stand socioeconomically. And that's just kind of how it goes. Now, different races and different cultures obviously go about it in different ways, right? We can look at a lot of black women. They're attracted to the thug type. They're attracted to men that exude masculine characteristics, though they might be more, reminiscent of like being a criminal, because these are traits that women look for in a lot of situations. Or it could be, the white girl who's looking for a guy who has some money and some status and has some bad boy tendencies, but, has some status alongside it. So every race goes about it in different ways, but the reality is women are all looking for the same type of guy. The way they go about it might be differently, because hypergamy, extends regardless of, what a woman's race is. Just so happens that they go about it in different ways, but the reality is that women are always going to fall to hypergamy.
Do you think that it changes based off of culture or race? So, like, for example,
sure,
what Paul Pierce saying that a lot of NBA players, because see, my opinion of it, when Paul Pierce said that a lot of NBA players or athletes go for white women, I think that a lot of NBA players that I've met has just been goofy. Like, a lot of them are young, a lot of them haven't necessarily lived long enough. A lot of them get resources, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they understand the dynamics of women. A lot of times they just get with women based off of what's available, and a lot of them are at their hotel rooms, or a lot of them at the hotel before they even show up. Do you think that the cultural differences also yield different results when it comes to women? And I'm not even just talking about athletes, I'm talking about great men in general. Do you think that the cultural differences or the race plays a role in whether or not men are attracted to them, or do you just think that it's culture by itself and the type of men that women go after?
I mean, it's such a multitude of different things. Like, if we're going to talk about NBA players, right, for example, just as the first one. So a lot of these guys play college first. When you're in college, a lot of the times you're in a white dominant, situation where you're an athlete, you're Division I athlete. I could say this from experience from being Division I athlete myself. Like, the women are going to just gravitate towards the D1 athletes. And then when you're a basketball player or a football player at a Division I school, you're kind of at the top of the pecking order from a social status perspective. So what ends up happening is, let's say you did come from an inner city, you were the top guy, then you go to a big Division I school, you're not seeing Shaniqua and LaQuisha anymore. You're seeing, Becky and a bunch of other girls from Midwest. So like your thing switches, and men, we like variety. So since men like variety, this is something different that I'm not used to. Oh, I'm going to go with this. And what ends up happening a lot of times is these guys will get a girl in college, and that girl will kind of follow them along. And then, they might have that chick as a woman that was with them when they were playing sports, or they might find a girl once they get into league or whatever. But what I've realized is, like, with men, it just comes down to variety. I don't think men care so much about, everyone has their preferences, of course, but I think what men care about the most is, like, is this girl going to be submissive, not be a pain in the ass? Because a lot of times when men make money and they acquire status, they acquire that money and status, and the first thing they do is get rid of problematic women a lot of the times, right? Because you don't make that kind of money and you don't get that level of status and want to come back and deal with a woman that's going to sit there and argue with you. Like, the dumbest thing that women say is like, oh, yeah, you don't want a woman that challenges you? No, you dumb whore. Like, no, thank you. We got to go out and fight the world. Last thing I want to do is come back and argue with a woman. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions that women actually push out there, saying, don't you want a woman to challenge you? And this is like propaganda from like the 2000s of Neo saying, I want a woman who wants her own, independent woman, whatever, blah, 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 which we've been indoctrinated to believe these lies. We've been pushing this like whole independent woman thing and a woman that can earn on her own for literally the better part of a couple of decades. And guess what happens? Neo lied to everybody. What is he doing now? He has like 2 or 3 girlfriends that he supports. This whole independent woman thing is a lie. Beyonce, oh yeah, I could find another you in a minute. What's she doing? Jay-Z cheats on her? She's still there. So it's all cap. It's all a lie. So I think it's really important for people to kind of like deprogram from like what's been pushed, especially in the Black community, when it comes to like, I want a strong independent woman and any of this stuff. That's not what men are looking for. Like, and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, because he brought this to light more, especially in the Black community, kind of like indoctrinating women, like trying to deprogram women with the indoctrination of like, your career, your status, your title, men really don't care about these things. And the more money and resources they acquire, the less they care about it. So that's kind of what it comes down to. I think a lot of it comes down to the women are available because of their proximity to, access to women, being a college athlete. They acquire more money and resource, which, is obviously going to put them in position with these women. And then just really what it comes down to is who's available, who's hot, and who's not going to be a pain in the ass. If these things line up, a lot of the times they're going to go with the chick, is what I've realized.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think about a lot of the women that are being or getting upset at the fact that he is stating this, that it is true, and that a lot of guys are divesting themselves from the type of women that they originally had available to them once they start to get resources and they become more successful?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. I can't tell you how many times, because here's the thing, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know, right? So, like, let's say you're growing up in the hood, right? And all you've dealt with is, like, ratchet women that are kind of rough around the edges. And, like, you've been indoctrinated to think, like, you should be accepting this. Like, this is great. Cool. You'll deal with it for a bit. But then you get some money and status, and then you date an Asian girl. She ain't talking back to you. She rubs your feet without you asking. She's making you food. You know what I mean? She's bringing you around her Chinese friends and stuff like that. You're walking into the, to the grocery store. Niggas aren't telling you hurry up and buy no more. You're like, damn, this feels kind of nice. So what ends up happening, right? Like, okay, this is nice. Like, I've never experienced this before. And when you get this different treatment, you're like, damn, I can't go back to LaQuisha now. I'm not trying to argue with her. I like Ling Ling. Ling Ling loves me a long time and she don't argue with me. And this is what ends up happening a lot of the times with guys is like, you don't know what you don't know until you experience it. So when they get this money, they get the status, they get access to it, you can't go backwards. So that's what's happening a lot of the times with these guys that get some status. Like, you just put around women that kind of know their place just off of the imbalance of your status and your income. They know to shut the fuck up and know what it is. So women just naturally know this stuff. But when they know that they have more status than you, they got more money than you, and they could talk back to you, they're going to do it. But once you reach a certain level of status, women start to be quiet, and it's fantastic.
What about the guys that get finessed? So, like, for example, I know that it's a lot of women that make the adjustment because they know that they're around a certain type of guy. And then Q Diddy, you can jump in too, but I just got this one last question. What about the guys that wind up getting finessed?
That's the biggest problem. And this happens so much. I mean, me and you have seen it, Anton, probably like in this sphere on, with celebrities every single time, especially with young guys that have a lot of money that like that trick or do some other stuff, especially like on these OnlyFans girls, because like it's a cool thing now to get with these e-thoughts. So that's the biggest problem for guys that have some influence and some status. And this is why it's so important to be like red pill aware, especially when you got some money and status. Like, you have to be even more on point because you have way more to lose. I mean, look at what's going on right now with Shaina Sharp. Like, this is wild, right? But he should have kind of known that this chick being an OF girl, because I guarantee you, like a chick like this, you offer a girl 10 million, most girls would have taken that deal. You know what it is? He promised her a dream and she didn't get it. So now she's going to burn down the house with everything because the vitriol at which she's going at him and how she's trying to make this public and tarnish his name in the process, whilst hurting her own reputation, by the way. Like, the fact that she's going so hard tells me that he made some promises to her, like, oh, you're going to be the one, I love you, blah, blah, blah. They're in a long-term relationship, so they probably had some kind of serious talks. So I think, like, what's going on with that situation is he made some promises, he's not keeping them, and now she's pissed off.
What was you about to say, Quentin?
I was raising my hand to the guy that gets finessed.
Oh, you get finessed?
I have been.
I think it's a part of the journey, though. Like, every single guy has taken it out, whether you were nice to a girl that didn't deserve it, you courted a girl too much, you got stuck in the friend zone. I think every guy has been finessed by a woman, and it's good because it teaches you because, like, when guys have to, like, get their, what I've noticed with men, especially from coaching thousands of men, I'll tell them, yo, don't do this. They'll still do it anyway, and then they'll come back to me and say, damn, you were right. And then it makes that learning lesson much more potent because now they felt the burn and they're like, all right, I can, you warned me and I felt it. It's one thing for you to tell them. It's another thing for them to find out as well. And it makes it that much stronger. So a lot of guys, they got to get burned by women. Very few guys like can learn from others and not make that mistake versus most guys have to make that mistake to learn for real.